Windows down, it's Friday. Rudy Campos Jr., Derek Gervin, the sports answer. Let's ride. It's the Friday drive home, San Antonio flow. Rudy and Derek live on YouTube. Here we go, streaming online, podcast wherever you roam. NBA, NFL, Spurs, and hot takes. We on the zone. Powered by Salem, surround San Antonio.
All right, guys, as you can tell, this is the Friday Night Drive. This is going to be a pre-recorded show. It's running live on Answer Now TV on YouTube, but the show is pre-recorded. So again, if you are leaving comments, we're not ignoring you. Not at all. We're not going to be able to see the comments because we're pre-recorded right now. But this is a pre-recorded / live version of the Friday Night Drive. It's going to be myself. Derek Gervin is out right now. He's got some stuff going on, so we're letting him take care of what he's got. He's got the basketball season coming up too, so he's got a lot of stuff he's trying to get ready for basketball season coming up here in a few months, actually, for where he coaches. So joining me tonight is going to be one of a very special guests. He's going to be our NFL guru when it comes to the sports answer, and we'll introduce him here in just a little bit, but we got to give a shout out to Navarro Roofing. It's 210-680-5070. Navarro Roofing, number one in roofing in San Antonio. If you guys, we have hailstorms all the time in San Antonio. We have wind damage from time to time in San Antonio. You know what you guys need. The roof gets messed up. Hell, causes a lot of damage. Navarro Roofing is the best in the business. They work with all of your insurances. Call them today, 210-680-5070. And as always, you are a part of the Salem Surround Studios. And Salem Surround, for all your digital and marketing needs, you call Salem Surround today. If you want your business to just be number one, there's only one call to make. That's 210-526-3635. Salem Surround, both are sponsors of us here at The Sports Answer. What do we have today? We have no Spurs Cheeseman. There's going to be no Spurs Cheeseman. Basketball season, we're kind of putting that on the back burner. Why? Because the NFL is here. This is going to be our NFL preview show. Nothing but NFL talk. We're going to go division by division, give you division winners. We're going to go to playoff teams. We're going to talk about predictions for the Super Bowl. We're going to give you some fantasy football advice. So you definitely want to tune in because why? How good are the Cowboys going to be? Derek and I talked about it about a week or so ago when Derek said he's got them all the way up to possibly 12 wins. And I said, you know what? I think 10-7 is my roof for the Dallas Cowboys. But we're going to get into all those predictions here. But first and foremost, we got to bring in our special guest. Here's our NFL guru, the Mel Kiper of the Sports Answer, and that is Coach Gio himself. Coach Gio, welcome to the Sports Answer, man. First time on radio with us, and it's probably not going to be the last time.
It's hopefully not the last time. If you kind of slide me that check, I'll be able to keep coming. But it's good to be back, Rudy. And, the fall weather is starting to creep up here in the Midwest. You can kind of smell football, and it's exciting to be back here on the show with you, as well as football season. Baseball season's fun. The NBA, disaster, but it's football time.
Yeah, you're mentioning about the Spurs and the disaster season they have, but I promised nobody that we would be getting into any NBA talk today. Coach Gio is definitely the NFL and the college football guru for us here at the Sports Answer. Again, Derek Gervin is not with us today, but he should be back here in the next couple of weeks. So you're going to get your NFL preview today. We're more than likely with week 0 happening this weekend. We might have Coach Gio back next week to talk everything college football, get you guys ready for the college football season that's going to be upon us. And I will say, as always high as I am on the Texas Longhorns, Gio, I am not high. I'm going to give you one team that I am high on this year, and I'd love to see your reaction on that. Is
the North Carolina Tar Heels?
No, absolutely not. But it does start with an M, and that is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I'm actually kind of high on them this year.
Way to go out on a limb, Rudy.
Why is that a limb? I like the quarterback. CJ Carr, I think, is probably the best QB in college football.
I was kind of being sarcastic, Rudy. But no, I think Notre Dame will be, as usual, a very good team. Rudy, it's time for them to get to a conference. We've been talking about this for a long time. Do you think they will eventually say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time to join the Big Ten? Because in basketball, if I'm not mistaken, they're in the ACC.
Yeah.
So why not just go to the Big Ten and really get things going. Indiana, by the way, canceled their series against Notre Dame. I think, I don't know if it's 2029, 2030. And the Big Ten's like, look, like, we got to play our teams here. If you
Mhm.
come onto the conference, you can play us.
But the problem with that is Notre Dame, it's the name, man. It's always been the independent name. So they're going to make money and they don't want to share the revenue with other teams and everything. So that's the reason why Notre Dame will never join a conference in football unless they're forced, which will never happen.
No, it probably won't happen. But I do think it's time.
It is time. It's got to be time. Notre Dame's got to join a conference, but they're my picks. I've got other picks too. And Gio, I think you're going to be upset because um, those Indiana national championship fighting Hoosiers, their very first game is against North Texas. And had this been last year, I think North Texas might have had a chance because they were pretty stout last year. North Texas doesn't have a whole lot coming back, but again, that's a game I circled in week 1 where I'm like, could we see upset in the making week 1, North Texas over Indiana? I mean, I don't know, man. North Texas has been playing pretty good ball for the past couple of years, I think.
Rudy, I'm not sure if you remember this last season. Indiana at versus Old Dominion was 27-14. It was actually a lot closer than you think. And that was the first game. First game, look, there's no preseason. There's really none of that going on. So the first game is legit the first game of the season. Indiana, can't wait to talk about them. They have a interesting quarterback coming over from TCU who's turned the ball over. But man, in this offense, Rudy, this defense, dare I say that IU is going to have another opportunity to potentially get back to the national championship?
I don't know, man. You called IU success like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. You called it, and we were doing shows at the time. And then, Derek and I jumped on the bandwagon because we thought, okay, they are looking good. Kurt Signetti came in, they look great, and then all of a sudden, national champions. And I remember, true story. Last year, I told my boss and I told a lot of people, hey, Indiana's a legit team, and they all laughed me out of the building. They said, Indiana's a basketball school. There's no way they're a legit college football team. And I said, watch. Then they become national champions. They're like, wow, you said it. I said, well, I said it because a buddy of mine, the guru, said it first. And I agreed with it because I saw what he was saying.
I think it was a few years, Rudy. My fiance, she goes to IU. I start going to games, just naturally, they had Coach Allen, who was, I think, Penn State's defensive coordinator a few years ago, but he was the head coach. And I told you, I said, Sleeping Giant, if someone can come in there, they have the name, they have the brand, they got money, they're not spending it on football, clearly. But Signetti, everywhere he went, and I'll never forget that day, you and Derek were looking at me like, all right, man. And all I said was, hey, Sleeping Giant, true story, by the way. If they could just get some money there, the Mark Cuban money, right? Mark Cuban went to IU. And wow, Rudy, it's probably one of the greatest college football stories and also sports stories we've probably ever seen. The losingest program basically in college football history, the dump, to be national champions, to beat Miami and to go on the run that they did, and then they win the Big Ten against Ohio State in the championship game. You couldn't write a better script, Rudy. You really couldn't.
You could not. That was an amazing season by Indiana, and like I said, I don't know if I've got him repeating as national champions, but
it's going to be a tough road. Ohio State, Oregon, and then Rudy, you have the teams that will surprise you every year. They'll go on the road, going to Iowa's tough, right?
Yeah.
Northwestern has a new football stadium, so it's going to be exciting to watch.
Not only that, I'm going to spill something. There is a lot of talk of UTSA getting into that playoff prediction, that playoff picture, because apparently, you don't have to win your conference. You just have to be the highest ranked, non-conference team to get non-power 5 or whatever, get into to get in.
Do you think, Rudy, the last few years, some of those bottom teams, or not bottom teams, but lesser known teams have flamed out a bit in the playoffs? Do you think the committee says, hey, maybe a UTSA isn't worth it?
Only because of the way the rules are broke down, no.
Yeah.
But I really feel like eventually, once it opens up, they're going to open it up to more teams in the next year or so.
Yeah.
There's going to be more teams, so I think you still have to play within the rules. And rules state now that the highest ranked team based off of whatever conference all the other conferences
Yeah.
gets into the playoffs. So
That's true.
I like that rule, and right now they're predicting UTSA to be that team. A lot of people are predicting it. So
Well, Rudy, let's remember Coach Signetti. He came over from James Madison. James Madison made the playoffs, and yeah, they
Mhm.
didn't beat Oregon, but I believe they put up like 30 points, which
yeah.
for a smaller school, still pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, not saying UTSA is going to go on a national championship run, but nonetheless, that would be good for the Roadrunners, man. This is Coach Gio. It's Rudy Campos Jr. This is the NFL preview show. Again, if you're leaving comments, we appreciate the comments. We're not going to be able to read them because, again, we are not technically live, even though it says live. We're not technically live right now, but this is the live show on Answer Now TV. Subscribe to Answer Now TV, where you can get the Friday Drive and the Thursday Night Delight with myself and Derek Irvin and Coach Gio as well. We'll try to bring Coach Gio on next week again to do our college football preview. But what do we have? NFL preview, Gio. We got to get into it, man. All right, there's the big board. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to go through the AFC first. We're going to take our commercial break, our one and only commercial break. It's basically halftime for us. We'll come back with the NFC. We're going to give you our playoff predictions, division winners. We're going to give you some fantasy football advice. We're going to give you everything you can handle. So get that pen and paper ready. Get those phones out. Hit that record button. Do what you need to do, because this is your NFL preview report. Gio, we're going to start in the AFC East. Buffalo, the runner-up Patriots in the Super Bowl, Jets and the Dolphins. Now, obviously, we'll go to the Dolphins, with Tua Tagovailoa. He's gone. He's not there no more. The Malik Willis era in Miami has started. Not a team that you're looking to do very much this season. Fantasy relevance, Devon Achane is probably the one guy fantasy relevance there. Dolphins probably are going to be the bottom feeder team for me in that division. What do you think on the Dolphins?
Rudy, the Dolphins, they still owe a lot of money to a lot of players who aren't even on the team.
Yeah.
So this is a franchise right now. I do like Malik Willis, Rudy. I like what I saw at Green Bay last season, coming in, filling in, playing well. But is that going to be enough? New coaching staff, right? New head coach. So the Dolphins, to me, seem to be the obvious choice. But Rudy, the Jets, Geno Smith, I don't know what to expect week to week from this guy. You got Dr. Jekyll at the high. He's up. He's down. He's middle. The Jets and the Dolphins, I think, will be fighting, really, not just for the worst teams in the division, but obviously the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
So Dolphins last. I'll give Dolphins last. The Jets, Geno Smith, I'll give him some respect. But Rudy, I think Bills and Patriots, man, there's going to be some good games this year. Rudy, when is it time for the Bills? I mean, when is it going to be that Cinderella run? Everything just matches up. Kansas City wasn't good last year, right? Like they were up and down. You would think, hey, coming into effect. But I still think it's going to be the Bills. And then the second place, the Patriots, to me, Super Bowl hangover, and Mike Vrabel. What an offseason, Rudy. He probably had the biggest offseason out of every team here. No point intended. But I like the Bills coming in this season, Rudy. They do have a new defensive coordinator, new head coach, right? So there's a lot going for this team. I just expect Josh Allen to be good. The question is, can he take another leap into the playoffs and maybe make a run? And maybe we see the Rams-Bills Super Bowl. I don't know.
Well,
maybe I spoke too soon.
Well, maybe so. Well, the thing is, I get with the Jets and the Dolphins. I mean, that's going to be your two bottom feeder teams. What I do like about the Jets is that they're kind of on a good rebuild. They're obviously going to probably get a quarterback next year. They're going to go. It's a fully loaded quarterback draft class coming in next year. Dante Moore, CJ Carr, Sayan, Arch Manning. You got a bunch of QBs coming in next year. So I think the Jets are taking another year off when it comes to QB play, basically. So you're right. It's going to be the Bills and Patriots. I am so high on the Bills in this division that I think they kind of run away with it. Now, yes, you're right. Vrabel had an offseason, probably bigger offseason than Robert Kraft did from back in the day. This is something that I think looms for the New England Patriots, and Drake May coming off of that Super Bowl run. I think he kind of peaked a little too soon. You and I always say when those rookies have great rookie seasons at QB, what does that do? That gives NFL tape to the other coaches around the league. So now they know where they can expose you. What can they expect? So unless he takes another leap forward, which I don't see, and I really don't see a lot of NFL rookies doing after their first year, I don't expect the Patriots to do a whole bunch. He's got AJ Brown there, but again, the running back situation there has always been cloudy with me. Stevenson, Travion Henderson, one of those guys has to be the guy.
Henderson had some games last year, Rudy.
He
Stevenson
did.
has a bit of a fumbling problem, which cannot get out of his head. So those guys are going to split time. And the offensive line, Rudy, we saw Campbell struggled, man. I mean, he has struggled. I saw some videos, and I hate watching video off-season workouts because they don't really do anything for me, because we've seen Ben Simmons shoot very well in practice. But
you can stop and start the camera at any time. So, yeah.
Rudy, let's be real. The Broncos didn't have their quarterback in that playoff game. And CJ Stroud was a deer in the headlights. I mean, he's throwing interceptions. And the Texans beat the Steelers, whatever was left of them. So I think the Patriots kind of went on a run there, but I'm on your side, Rudy. Joe Brady, and then Rudy, this offseason, the defense. The Bills put some money in there. They got Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
Gardner Johnson. They got safety Geno stuff. I mean, they went out and really bolster up this defense, which has been a little bit up and down lately there. But I like the Bills, Rudy. I just think they're the better team. Barring any crazy happenings of an injury, the Bills should be able to win this division, and they should be able to win it comfortably.
I love the Bills in this division. Like we mentioned, Josh Allen, I think, when you're talking about fantasy relevance, don't get me wrong, the Patriots have fantasy relevance. I think AJ Brown is a fantasy relevant, wide receiver. If you want to go in that backfield, you may as well get both Stevenson and Henderson, because right now Vrabel doesn't know who's going to be the number one back. He could say Henderson for a couple of weeks and you see Stevenson out there. So relevance for those guys. But with Buffalo, you mentioned that defense, man. That defense was revamped in the offseason. Then you go and add what we've been calling for Josh Allen. That's a number one wide receiver with DJ Moore. Mm-hmm. James Cook, I love the right side of that line with Connor McGovern, Osiris Thomas, and Spencer Brown. He's going to be able to run, get major yardage on that right side of the line. So what I love about Buffalo is I think they're going to take that next step forward, and they're going to probably be a more dominant team on both ends of the ball this season. Win predictions for Buffalo, what do you think they get to this season, and what does it take to win that division?
Don't forget about Dalton Kincaid too, Rudy. I think
Kincaid as well.
Can be a very special player. Rudy, give me probably going to be, I'm going to say 12 wins. I really think they move forward. Is it possible that Allen goes into a rainy day in East Rutherford, New Jersey, and he throws a few picks against us? Sure, like that's how football is. But ultimately, to me, 12 wins seems pretty safe bet for the Bills. So yeah. I don't. The Patriots, right? I just think they peaked. They peaked talk about a peak. The Super Bowl, and to do what they did in that Super Bowl against Seattle, it should have been the Rams. Don't get me started on that, but. Give me the Bills. I really, if they have a disaster year, Rudy, we might sit back and think, where did we go wrong with this prediction? Because we didn't see that coming.
Yeah, barring health, the Buffalo Bills should run away with this. I've got them around that 12, maybe even 13 win mark, and them being one of the best teams in the AFC. So we both have the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC East. Jumping over to the AFC North, Gio, you of course, Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. This is one of the divisions that we kind of go back and forth on. You and I called it years ago. We said, this is probably the time where you're going to start seeing John Harbaugh probably get fired, move on from John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson, he's not able to get Lamar to that next level. Yeah, you put up MVP numbers in the regular season, but that doesn't mean anything if you can't get to a Super Bowl. Sure enough, we called it about a year or two before, actually 2 years before it happened. John Harbaugh's gone. We were early by 2 years. So, oh, well, we'll take that no matter what. But now you got Joe Burrow back. Jamar Chase had somewhat of a scare on training camp recently. Don't know the effects of that just yet, but then you've got the other two teams. This is probably going to be the first year the Steelers haven't gone 500 in a long time now. Obviously Mike Tomlin's not there. The Browns, I don't expect a whole lot from the Browns, even though I think they can be exciting with that nice receiving core that they've got. First and foremost, I love the Ravens and I love the Bengals. If you're asking me to pick one who's going to win this division, if the Bengals can stay healthy, I'm taking Cincinnati all the way in this division.
Rudy, were you reading my notes?
I don't even see your notes. I can't see your notes.
Because I was thinking a few days ago, Joe Burrow's been coming into camp, Rudy. He's been raw, right? He's kind of trying to bring the intensity to Cincinnati. I sat there and I said, you know what? I think the Bengals are going to win this division. I think this is a year that the Bengals stay healthy and defensively. Remember, Dexter Lawrence, not bad there. They had injuries last year, but I think with some new acquisitions on the defensive side of the football and Joe Burrow, Rudy, it's now or never. And I think the Bengals, they're going to have a really good season. And Baltimore, they're going to be right there with them. I mean, whenever you have Lamar Jackson, a two-time MVP, Rudy, look, you're going to be in those games. But obviously, new coaching staff, right? Todd Monken's gone at the offensive coordinator position. They have a new defensive guy as well. So a lot of new variables with the Baltimore Ravens. We'll see what happens. But, Rudy, give me the Bengals, Ravens second. Pittsburgh is an interesting team. Mike McCarthy comes in, Rudy, right? He teams up again with old Aaron Rodgers, who once upon a time said that Mike McCarthy was getting massages upstairs instead of coaching, whatever the case may be. But I think third is probably where you're going to see Pittsburgh. I think they'll be in a lot of games this year. I think Aaron Rodgers, to me, doesn't turn the needle, though that rookie quarterback they drafted has looked fairly okay during preseason so far. So give me that. And then, Rudy, the dumpster fire of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
My condolences to Jared Verse. I'm sorry, brother. You're a great player, man. But for you to send you to basically Siberia was tough to watch. But the Browns, Rudy, the quarterback position, this is it. They're going to start Deshaun Watson.
Oh, God. Yeah,
I would have just started Shedeur Sanders, Rudy, at this point. What is there to lose?
Well, that's the thing is that everybody wants, Shedeur Sanders. And again, we've been saying for a while since before Shedeur was drafted, he's not an NFL quarterback. And I really, truly still feel that way. He's your backup quarterback. And I know he's not going to be, the savior of savior for Cleveland, but I feel bad again for Jared Verse. What I do feel bad, Gio, is that if Deshaun Watson can't get it going, I feel bad for Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion because these two guys, these two guys are magnificent. And this goes out to all you dynasty owners out there that are drafting rookies pretty soon. Those are two guys you definitely want to draft on your dynasty rosters because once they do get a quarterback there, those two guys are going to be going off. I mean, the potential, that's what I want to ask you, the potential of those two guys at wide receiver, what two guys from NFL history could you possibly see them be? Because, I mean, most recently, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, when Cooper was balling, I mean, that's the kind of 1-2 punch. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, I mean, go back in the day, John Taylor and Jerry Rice type. I mean, these guys could put up numbers quick with the right QB.
They can, Rudy. And look, I call Cleveland a dumpster fire, but they have talent. Really, their defense last year, and obviously, the best defensive player is gone. But Todd Monken comes in as a very adaptable offensive mind. We've seen him obviously with the Ravens. We saw him with the Georgia Bulldogs. Really, yeah, it's college, but two-time national champion there. So Todd Monken, I think he could be very creative in his offense, really, but I don't think it really matters because you need a quarterback. And Deshaun Watson, really, I saw some of those highlights.
Yeah.
It was dreadful. And Shador wasn't great either by any means. But Todd Monken, honestly, really, in a way, is kind of set up to fail, at least at the quarterback position, because they really didn't do anything. And they can't because the dumbest contract we have ever seen. And really, they're trying to justify it essentially by starting him, saying, hey, like, we got to get the best that we can from him. I don't know what the cap hit is, but isn't it like 50 million or some crazy amount?
It's a ridiculous amount. So if you're going to have to pay it and no one's going to take him, you may as well start him. I mean, on paper, Gio, he's probably the best quarterback they have on this roster.
He is.
I mean, if anyone's going to give him a shot, it's going to be Deshaun Watson to win.
Oh, and I love the tight end that they drafted from Bowling Green. Rudy.
Is it Whitehart?
No, what's his name? They drafted him.
Or Carson Ryan.
What is his name? They ended up drafting him. He was one of the best tight ends in the draft. No, Harold Finnan Jr.
Oh, Harold Fannin Jr.
Yeah.
So he was there last year.
Yeah. So he played very well. He won me some money in betting. They have pieces, Rudy. You know, I call them a dumpster fire, but they have pieces. It's the old quarterback position, Rudy. And when we talk about your Atlanta Falcons later, it's basically the same thing, though your team, I would say, has more offensive talent.
Oh, God. Don't give any Atlanta Falcon fan hope, Gio. Overall, in the AFC North, I mean, we both have the Bengals winning. We got the Baltimore Ravens second. Steelers, I will give you this much on a Steeler thing. If you feel like they could go and get a quarterback next year, you're right. Possibly they're going to look at QB. But for a while there, I was telling a lot of people about Drew Aller, from Penn State. He was a NFL quarterback ready guy. Knowing that he's like the fourth quarterback on that roster, I'm like, man, McCarthy's got to really bump him up. I think if you give Drew Aller, especially if the season's already done, you're 4 or 5 games in the season, you're 0-4, 0-5, maybe 1-4. Maybe it's time to give one of these guys an opportunity to see what you really have. I think Drew Aller has the potential to be, a good quarterback later on if given the opportunity. Fantasy-wise, I mean, if Jamar Chase is healthy, he's going to be one of the best receivers, not the best wide receiver in the game. Joe Burrow's going to put up numbers. Chase Brown, T. Higgins. You want to draft a lot of guys from Cincinnati. I would pretty much stay away unless you're in dynasty leagues. I would stay away from anybody on the Cleveland Browns roster, as mentioned. Pittsburgh, I mean, late round guys, Jalen Warren, possibly DK Metcalf.
I like DK, Rudy, but the problem
I don't know if I can go with DK, man.
He's not consistent enough for me.
That's the problem.
He's not engaged, and there's games where I've seen him like, dude, what are you doing? Like, it's just, and look, he's in Pittsburgh, and the quarterback position has not been very good there over the years, so he's a product of that. I'm sure he wishes he was in Seattle again.
Oh, God. Well, yeah, he would have been a Super Bowl champion, but yeah, he definitely wishes he was there. And in Baltimore, obviously, you want to go, Lamar Jackson. I still believe Derrick Henry's going to put up another 1,000-yard season. I mean, he just doesn't quit. So those are the three guys. Those are the people we think have some fantasy relevance. It's Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. This is your NFL preview show again. Reminding everybody, if you are leaving comments, we're not ignoring you guys. Trust me, we're not. It says that we're live, but we're not ignoring you. We just don't read them because, well, we're pre-recorded. So just keep that in mind. So don't get upset. But you can follow us at Answer Now TV on YouTube. Go to the AFC South. 2 more divisions, and we'll take a commercial break here. AFC South, Jaguars, Texans, Titans, Colts. I've heard people say that the Titans look terrible, but I've even heard people say that the Titans could surprise a lot of people and not necessarily win the division, but win more games than people are expecting them to. And they actually have the Colts dead last in this division. My boy, your boy, Daniel Jones, not getting any love this year. Overall, I love the Texans in this division. I know Jacksonville ended last season on a hot streak, but God, I love the Texans, but I really think that Jaden Higgins injury is going to really come back to haunt them a whole lot this year. I'm kind of torn right now. I want to hear your prediction on the South because I'm kind of torn between Jacksonville and Houston.
as someone who lives in Indiana and lives about 20 minutes from Lucas Oil Stadium, the Colts vibe it's not very good. Obviously, Richardson is
It's the Jeff George years back in
probably
Indianapolis.
he's probably going to get cut. But really, first of all, Jacksonville, Liam Coleman they played very well last season and probably should have beat Buffalo in that game. I really felt like they at times played better, but young team kind of going through. But Liam Cohen offensively, Rudy, they also signed Chris Rodriguez, the running back from
Memphis.
Yep. So they have some very good offensive players. The weapons are there, Rudy. The offensive line should continue to improve. Trevor Lawrence, to me, Rudy, he's kind of, I don't know. He's good, but he's not, he's not that next echelon level. Will he take that next step? That's the question here because they have the talent, they have the defensive players. Will Jacksonville take the next step? And that's obviously going to be Trevor Lawrence, right?
The thing with Jacksonville is they ended really good last season, but for what everyone is saying, oh, they're going to be the top team in the AFC South. They're going to be one of the better teams in the AFC South. I don't know if I buy that. They're putting a lot into Bashal Tutin on the running back situation. Great guy. You mentioned Chris Rodriguez, but I still feel like losing Travis Etienne still kind of hurts a little bit. Then you downgrade Brian Thomas Jr. basically. So, I mean,
you basically do. And one thing where I will give you credit on the sacks. That's a concern for me. Their offensive line needs to, as well as Lawrence, take another step.
Yeah,
because he was sacked 6 most last season. So that obviously not good. And whenever I watched them last year, I always said their offensive line it doesn't always do it for me. It's just something is missing. They can address that. I think they'll be fine enough, Rudy, to win this division. But that Texans defense, and the only reason why, Rudy, I'm also putting Jacksonville, is that the Texans have a quarterback who, let's just say, has literally regressed every year he's been in the league after his rookie season.
Yeah.
I mean, Rudy, they probably should have benched him in that playoff game. I had a friend of mine, Gerald, say they should bench this guy immediately.
Yeah.
But Rudy, the Texans, I mean, look, that defense, I mean, wow. I saw a picture of Daniel Hunter. I don't know if it was photoshopped or what, but his veins was popping out. I said, man, the Texas defense is going to come ready to play, Rudy. Offensively, that's truly the question. Can CJ Stroud get over that? And Rudy, it was reported, I think he's asking for $50 million.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
No.
I'd rather sign Daniel Jones.
Oh, wow.
And that's coming, and that's saying a lot for me, Rudy.
Daniel Jones, yeah, that is saying a lot. Same division.
Hopefully they get Tank Dell back ready, right? He's had those injuries over the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
They have Nico Collins as well, one of the best tight ends in the league. So offensively, Rudy, in some cases, with some of the teams we talked about, they have the offensive weapons. It's the quarterback in this case. Can he get out of that slump? Because Rudy, he's looked terrible.
It wouldn't be the first time, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it wouldn't be the first time we see a defense win a Super Bowl or get a team to a Super Bowl.
Well, don't forget the 2001 Ravens did have Trent Dilfer at quarterback, who was then released the next year. But
yeah,
it's you're right. It's been a while because even Seattle, as good as defense they were last year, the Rams were torching Seattle a lot in most of those games. But no, Texas number 2, Rudy, and then these last 2 teams, Tennessee
looks good. Like they look good on paper, and it's like a balanced team, but it's so young, and it's like they're gonna be that 2-year away team that you're gonna be like, okay, this is what we're looking at here. I don't know. You got 2 years, maybe 3 years before we get this team on the right path. Because, like I said, right now, it looks good on paper. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere.
They won't, Rudy. I need to see more from Cam Moore. Look, Rudy, he took a beating last year.
Yeah,
there were some of those games where, dude, he's running for his life. And I'm watching some of those guys like, dude, this guy, he's hanging in there. He said all the right things in those conferences. Really, they got to continue to build around him. Salah, obviously, with the Jets, that wasn't a really good, ending point there.
Yeah.
They have the pieces. They got stuff here and there. They did lose Janarius Sneed. They also lost the center in the offseason. So we'll see what they do to kind of just play better. They have pieces, Rudy. It's just your quarterback, Cam Ward. Is he going to run for his life again? Because, Rudy, if he does, that takes a hit mentally.
Yeah, and you're looking. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
And also drafted Carnell Tate, right? So
Carnell Tate. There's
stuff in place, but I think they're, like you said, probably 2 or 3 years truly away from really competing. And you know what I always say, Rudy? I don't like my head coaches, defensive-minded head coaches.
Yeah.
And yes, the Texans, that's the exception. But I normally want a young quarterback. But they did. Callahan, and he got fired. So I guess they're trying a defensive coach. And then the Colts, I honestly don't know who's going to finish 3rd or 4th here. The Colts, Rudy, I really don't like the vibe going into this season. I think Shane's gone. Yeah, again, another team with talent. They still have offensive coordinator who I swear has the funniest name, Jim Bob Cooter, who's been around for a long time.
It's like forever, man. God.
Forever, and hasn't been a head coach. But really, look, Daniel Jones, before the injury, dare I say, okay, looked pretty competent as a head coach. They played the Rams tough. I think they beat the Chiefs last year.
Yeah.
Or maybe they lost that game. I don't remember, but played very well. 7-1, Rudy, but something just tells me that this is going to be a year where Daniel Jones goes back to his old self. And they also trade 2 first-round picks for a corner. That's a lot, Rudy. That's a lot for a guy who's honestly looks like he's regressed. And Michael Pittman, I believe, is gone.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I mean, when Alec Pierce is your number 1 wide receiver, and yet he's probably going to miss the first couple of weeks of the season, and then you're looking, Josh Downs, and then you sign Keenan Allen. I mean,
Rudy,
they're the bottom feeder.
No disrespect, Keenan, if you see this, but what are you, like 50? I mean, I don't know if Keenan's going to be able to. I mean, Rudy, we saw him with the Bears, the Chargers. It just hasn't been good. He's lost a step. The Colts, to me, I think Shane Johnson is on a ticking time bomb to be fired. I just 3rd or 4th. I honestly don't know. Tennessee's probably going to be that 4th team. The Colts are going to be the 3rd. But
I got it reversed. I think I've got Tennessee 3rd.
I mean, Rudy, at this point, it probably doesn't matter. But Jacksonville and the Texans, give me Jacksonville because of the quarterback position. Rudy, if it was flipped and Trevor Lawrence was with the Texans, man,
you're talking Super Bowl.
You'd be talking Super Bowl right now as we speak. But CJ Stroud, buddy, $50 million. More like what Jacoby Brissett's getting.
So, okay. Before we go on to the last one, before we take our first and only commercial break here, let me go back to CJ Stroud's $50 million. Because you know what he wants. Isn't that kind of that motivation that we see every single time when a player's coming up for a contract extension or they're playing for that contract? Don't we see it every time where that guy balls out and he makes it known, I am this good? And they're like, well, yes, you are this good. Here's the money. What if he goes on a tear like that? And trust me, it's false hope.
I hope he does, because the city of Houston, after what happened with Deshaun Watson, they deserve an opportunity to see where this goes. And look, they had a new offensive coordinator last year, came in, they improved the offense, but is it enough? Is he going to take the next step? Because Rudy, you're probably right. It's probably motivation at this point.
It has to be.
He has to say, hey, if I want this money, because we saw Sam Darnold, right? I mean, Rudy, he had that year with Minnesota was unbelievable. And then last year, though, I do think he took a little bit of a step back, but obviously when you win a Super Bowl, that obviously helps. Yeah, nobody looks at that. But really, this is such an important year for CJ, because If he has that year last year, I assume he'll probably get benched sometime during the season. And you're probably looking at him the next few years, maybe being a 1-year contract guy and hoping to get that payday, very similar to Sam Darnold. But, they did get what? David Montgomery? I like
That's
him,
what I
Rudy.
like. I like the fact that
Unfortunately, they lost the guy who's been hurt. Joe Mixon's, I believe he retired.
Nobody wants him. They think, he's done.
Yeah. His legs are shot. So I like Montgomery as a physical back. Again, a lot of receivers, they've been hurt, though. Tank Dell's coming back, hopefully. So there's a lot of different pieces. Dalton Schultz, right? So they have it there.
So, okay, before we go into the last conference or the last division, fantasy value in the AFC South. Obviously, we're thinking Trevor Lawrence is going to be a fantasy value when it comes to quarterback play. Probably the only quarterback that you're going to be drafting pretty high in a draft when it comes to quarterbacks is Trevor Lawrence. Wide receivers, I mean, this is wide receiver galore. Nico Collins, obviously going to be one of the top picks. Parker Washington out of Jacksonville. He's basically a reach for a lot of people, but I'm telling you, it's not a reach. This kid
Parker Washington
is
good. Let me tell you a quick story before we leave. I'm a betting man, Rudy.
Yeah.
Randomly last year, I think it may have been one of those European games, which they always seem to be. I had a touchdown bet for Parker Washington. Just randomly, I said, you know what? I think he might get 2 touchdowns. He got a first touchdown. He had a kick return touchdown that was called back. Would have had a nice payday. But I've been watching Parker all year last year. Really, I think he's going to be very good in this offense. I just think the quarterback position there is just a no-brainer.
Yeah. I would say, David Montgomery is a good option too. When you're talking running backs, Bashal Tutin, who we talked about for Jacksonville, is, decent option there for the Texans. We talked about Nico Collins. David Montgomery's going to probably win you a couple of leagues to get you those extra points that you're going to need from time to time. So he's definitely a good back that you want to go after, maybe mid rounds for fantasy value. The Titans, again, Dynasty Titans. Carnell Tate, you're probably going to look at him to draft in a dynasty league. Outside of that, I don't really have anybody. Maybe Tony Pollard right around the mid part of the fantasy drafts. Colt-wise, of course, everybody jumps on Jonathan Taylor. But because I don't have them as good as they're supposed to be, because they don't have a really good receiving core, I feel they're going to stack the box and make Daniel Jones beat him. So I'm kind of staying away from Jonathan Taylor in some drafts. I have the opportunity to get him, but I kind of go a different route. Does Taylor scare you in fantasy this year?
I mean, Rudy, that start he had he was on an MVP pace.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just dominating. And obviously, Daniel Jones playing well, but then Daniel Jones goes down. Obviously, he kind of takes a step back. I'm not sure what to make of Jonathan Taylor this year because Daniel Jones, though I did say, Rudy, I think it will take a step back. Naturally, Rudy, I don't know how old Jonathan Taylor is, but it does sound like, Rudy, normally when he hit that 30 wall, you start to kind of go a little bit down, unless you're Derrick Henry, who's like a giant.
It's like 50 years old. So
50 years old, still getting 1,000 yards every year. Jones, I mean, I still like him, obviously, in the draft, but I do think him and Daniel Jones take a step back. And Alan Pierce, I like him, but he almost looks like a slot receiver to me.
Yeah.
And if that's your number one guy,
I would love to see Josh Downs get an opportunity, but it just seems like every time Josh Downs seems to get going, they kind of stay away from him. They go away from him. They don't allow him to work. So I get that, man. It's just going to be kind of a fantasy toss-up for a lot of these players in the AFC South. AFC West, before we go to our commercial break here, this is a very interesting one, Gio, because my bold prediction for the AFC West is that the Kansas City Chiefs do not make the playoffs at all.
I wouldn't say that's too bold because I actually agree with you. This division is very, very interesting because obviously Kansas City has been top.
Cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop. Patrick Mahomes coming back from injury, Rudy. So
ACL. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Eric Bieniemy is back at offensive coordinator, right? He's had some really good successes. So could that obviously be there. Steve Spagnuolo is still there. They did lose some corners, Rudy. It seemed like the Rams picked up all the corners to come there. They did select what is it, Mansour
Delane?
Yeah, Delane, the corner that they desperately need. They got Peter Woods as well in the draft.
There.
Justin Fields. So I don't know. And then that contract that they gave Travis Kelce, what I saw last year already was a man who didn't look like he wanted to be there.
He was a married man or soon to be married man.
A soon married man.
It's family time, man. He's done playing.
I really was surprised they gave him that type of contract to return. And then really it seemed like their receiver, Rice seemed like he's he's always in trouble. Talented receiver, Rudy. Absolutely. And then it's like one thing after another with him.
Yeah.
So I think the world of Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to be a fighter this year. I think they're going to be into a lot of games, but Rudy, they got to run the ball. They have to be able to run. This is crucial to me for this offense, is to be able to run the ball. They still have some good offensive linemen there, but this is not the Chiefs of old. Their defense probably will be fine again, but I don't know. Patrick's going to have to do a lot this year, Rudy, because I just don't see it. Denver, look, they're probably going to win the division.
Yeah.
I mean, Peyton's playing with house money. They're playing with house money. Their defense is back. I mean, they know how to play. Give me Denver, Rudy, and then the Chargers. This is such a big year for Herbert. This is the make or break year, because I don't think that Harbaugh will go another year with what we've seen in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
And Herbert has seemed to regress in this offense. They fired Greg Roman, and who do they bring in, Rudy? The Wizard from Miami, who got fired, right? He comes in. He's going to kind of run some of that gimmicky Kyle Shanahan kind of West Coast offense. We'll see how that looks. This is a big year for him, Rudy, and it really revolves around him. He's regressed, and this offense to me is a little too run heavy. And you're probably saying, Gio, but they've won games. They've got to the playoffs. Yes, but it's at the expense of Herbert, and I'm not seeing that control of the offense.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this season Herbert has more control. Because, Rudy, remember when Herbert was with the two previous head coaches, he was slinging it around. Threw for a lot of yards, didn't win a lot of games, but now it's like he's regressing. Put it with Sean McVay. Hey, you know what, Sean McVay? Matthew Stafford retires. Why not?
There's no way they'll send him to the Rams. As much as that would make so much sense for the Rams, they wouldn't do that for the Rams.
The Chargers, they just need to worry about paying their bill, because they seem to be always late, apparently, than paying the Rams stadium. But no, I like the Chargers and the Broncos, two very good teams. The Broncos receiving, I mean, they from top to bottom, these two teams are going to be there. But to me, it's the quarterback position. That's always the most important, besides the offensive line, of course. But
yeah, I've got Broncos 1, Chargers 2, and of course I'm going to probably take the Chiefs at 3. But you know, if you really look at the Raiders, and I get it.
Oh my God, I forgot about the Raiders.
Well,
I forgot they were even there.
I really wouldn't forget about the Raiders, man, because this is a team where it's not going to get a lot of love. But if you look at the team and you're like studying it, Gio, it's like, you got a good quarterback to start off with, Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk is not, a slouch. No idea what Ashton Jeanty is going to be happening with him and his injury, but they've got a player, Mike Washington Jr., behind Jeanty that he's going to have a lot of fantasy value, and he's going to win you some games. Their receiving core definitely needs a lot of work, but I mean, okay, you don't have a true grit number 1 receiver, but you have Brock Bowers. Kind of outweighs that. So their offensive line, I mean, it's not a bad offensive line. If you look at it on paper, it's not a bad offense. Then you go defensively. Max Crosby, Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Kwity Paye. I mean, that
They've made
defense
significant
alone,
upgrades for, and I completely forgot about the Raiders here. The Raiders, I actually like what they're doing there. Mendoza, we'll see what he looks like. Some of my friends are not believers. They think
I am not.
it's just a system guy. He went on a hot run.
Yes.
But he's made some throws in camp that I've seen as well as in the game where you're like, okay, like I think he can play in this system. But the Raiders, Rudy, and the Chiefs, I can't believe I'm saying the Chiefs. I would be surprised if the Chiefs finished last in this division. I honestly would not be surprised. And I've been a big Patrick Mahomes lover throughout the years. I mean, glazing. But I just think that the Chiefs, they look tired the last few years. The offense doesn't have that zip, Rudy. I know they bring in Ben-Ami back as the offensive coordinator, but Rice always getting in. Travis Kelce looks old. I don't know, Rudy. I don't if Andy has that wizardry, because right now I just feel like they're just there, like, and they might just finish third or fourth in that division. And hey, but you know what, Rudy? I think the window will open for the Chiefs again. For a lot of teams, it opens, it closes, and I think right now it's probably closed unless something magical happens. But the Raiders, I think they're on the come up, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs finish last and the Raiders are battling for second or third.
I'm actually calling the Raiders at third and Chiefs fourth right now. That's what I was going to say. I kind of like what the Raiders and like, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they're going to be able to get after that quarterback with a lot of those guys. So,
and you have Clint Kubiak, who has,
coming off of a Super Bowl,
and obviously his dad coached in the NFL with the Texans as well as Mike Shanahan's offensive coordinator in Denver. So you have a structure there. Tom Brady's also around these days there. So very interesting Raider team. I really hope Mendoza really plays well whenever he gets. And I like the kid. He's different, but he's exciting to watch.
Yeah, I'm going to go Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs.
Okay. Oh, wow. Really saying Chiefs on last. Okay. All right.
I'm calling. That's what I've had already.
Chiefs Nation, man. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I've got Chiefs in last place in the AFC West. So that was the AFC preview for the AFC side, NFL preview for the AFC side. When we get back, it'll be NFC. We'll run through the NFC divisions. Then we'll give you Super Bowl predictions and anything that we can do as far as maybe playoff predictions as well. It's Coach Gio, Rudy Campos Jr. We'll be back from a word from our sponsors.
Can I help you?
Yes, madam. I'm a roofing contractor, and I'm giving out 3 estimates to lucky homeowners today. Would you like one?
Nancy, don't do it!
Wait, who said that?
Up here, Nancy! I'm your roof! Be careful, that guy is not a roofer!
Yes, I am. And I have a brand new shining ladder to prove it.
Well, where's your ladder?
Right there in my truck. The one with the Michigan license plate.
Nancy, why don't you call Navarro Roofing? They're the ones who replaced me last time. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they've been in business since 1968.
I remember my dad used them to replace our roof when I was just a kid. I'm going to call Navarro Roofing. Besides, they did my neighbor's house, and it looks amazing. And the cleanup was excellent.
Before you let anyone talk you into a good deal, call the Chamber of Commerce and see if they're actually local. Navarro Roofing is local and supports our local business.
That's the best call I ever made. Thanks, Roof.
Don't trust out-of-state storm chasers. Trust the name Texas has relied on for generations. Call Navarro Roofing today at 210-680-5070 or visit navarrosroofing.com.
Looking for the inside track on the silver and black? From deep dive analysis to breaking news on Wemby and the squad, get it all at Spurs in Focus. Join veteran beat writer Jeff Garcia for the ultimate one-stop spot for all things San Antonio Spurs. Subscribe now at spursinfocus.substack.com.
Billboards, gas stations, gyms, grocery stores, and more.
Salem Media puts your brand in front of San Antonio wherever life takes them.
Call 210-526-3626. Call 210-526-3626 and get noticed.
You know your business inside and out, but does your community? With Salem Media's podcast and video production services, you can share your expertise and connect with customers on their commute or wherever they listen. We handle production and distribution, so your content reaches the right ears on multiple podcast platforms. Stop letting competitors own the conversation. Call Salem Media today and ask about our local business podcast packages. Call Chris at 210-526-3631. 210-526-3631.
All right, welcome back to the Friday Drive. It's Rudy Campos Jr. along with Coach Gio, our NFL guru and college football guru, Coach Gio, and of course Derek Gervin will be back in the next couple of weeks. He's off this week, so this is your NFL preview show. Again, shout out to Navarro Roofing 210-680-5070. Also Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Both proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer on the Friday Drive. Be sure to go to Answer Now TV, hit that subscribe button as well. Coach Gio, we've gone through the AFC. We're going to go through the NFC real quick here. This is our second half of the show, so we got less time in this part here. NFC East, and before we kick that off, we got to give the old...
How about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Them Cowboys, them Cowboys, them Cowboys.
Yeah, you can't talk about the NFC East without mentioning those Dallas Cowboys.
Well, really, don't forget, you have a picture right next to the star.
I have a what?
Don't you have a picture that you took that I always...
Oh, yeah, you always bring that up. I remember that. You always bring that up. Yes, my wife is a Dallas Cowboy fan, and we went up to Jerry World, and I was at their practice stadium, I believe, and yeah, we ended up taking a picture by the star that I so famously am remembered by Coach Gio from all the time. So Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, Commanders, Giants. The Cowboys are such a coin toss, man, because you hear so many people predicted them winning the division, winning 13 games, 12 games. Then you hear a lot of people like myself that says, I think they're 9-10, maybe 9 wins, 10-win team. I don't see them winning the division. I think Philadelphia has the edge on that still. They got, addition by subtraction when they traded AJ Brown. So I like the Eagles. I like the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be a good offensive team, probably the best offensive team in the NFL. Defensively, yes, they got better defensively, but I still think they're a little far away from being a dominant defensive team. I'm going to go on a really bad limb here and say they're going to be battling for second with the Giants in this division. Man, how do you see the NFC East panning out?
This is, again, another interesting division. I mean, look, Rudy, I think I'm not going to get cute here. I think the Eagles, obviously losing Brown is a big deal, but you still got Saquon. You still have a pretty good, solid receiving core. And defensively with Vic Fangio, Rudy, which defense has been pretty good the last several years. I still think the Eagles are going to be on top. Remember they drafted Micaiah Lemon. We'll see what that looks like. I haven't heard the best out of him from camp. Dallas Goller is coming back. He seemed to kind of always be somewhat hurt, but also healthy as well. So the Eagles have I think Jalen Hurts will be fine, Rudy, but this is a big year for Jalen Hurts because Rudy, the Eagles fans, Rudy, how their patience is. It's not very patient fan base.
Yeah.
And the offense that we saw last year wasn't very good. So, we'll see what this new system entails. I think Jalen Hurts needs to take another step because, yeah, he won a Super Bowl. But, Rudy, we also remember Carson Wentz having a great, awesome run, and then he just kind of disappeared. But give me the Eagles there. And at second, I hate to say it, but give me the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Really, the offense, I think, will be just as good as it was last year for most of the year. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is back, Rudy. You got Jake Ferguson. Javonte Williams had a pretty good year. They got a bunch of other backs kind of mixed in there. And like you said, Rudy, the defense. I mean, they made some very key acquisitions in the offseason.
Yeah.
So I know you Dallas Cowboy haters. I'm always a Dallas Cowboy hater. I love it. But you really look at a team here that I think is going to put up a lot of points. Is their defense, going to be elite? I wouldn't say probably not, but I think they're going to be good enough to potentially come in second and also potentially could maybe win this division if they could take it from the Eagles. Dak Prescott, I think, will be another solid. I mean, I just think they're going to be a good team. I think another year with Brian Schottenheimer and the defense getting more comfortable. Dallas makes a lot of sense. But did you say that the Giants were going to finish third here?
I would think that I have the Giants finishing third.
No, I think this is a big year for your boy Dan Quinn, Rudy. I think this is a big year, and Jalen Daniels, which not to bring college football, but I thought what he did was reaching out to LSU saying no one should use number 5. I don't know how you feel about that, Rudy, but
I hated it, and I said it on there. I hated it.
Didn't love it, and I don't know if he mentioned Joe Burrow, but dude, Joe Burrow, that run that he had at LSU, Rudy, was.
I don't know if it'll ever be topped.
Anything would ever top that. But anyway, I like Washington at this third spot here, fighting for that another wild card spot. Obviously, Rudy, last season, 2 years ago, Rudy, they were in the NFC Championship game. I mean, Daniels was playing what? I mean, they just had a lot of things rolling for them, and it happens sometimes. A sophomore slump. He was also hurt as well. Zach Ertz also towards the end. I don't think Zach's back this season, but the Commanders, the backfield is a little crowded, Rudy. We'll see what that looks like, but I think the Commanders, I think they have a bounce back here, and I think they're fighting for a wild card spot. And that brings me to the state I was born in, beautiful New York, the New York Football Giants, which, Rudy, I like Harbaugh, but I don't know, man. I think he might be a little bit over his head with this team. There's a lot going on with this team here.
Yeah.
There's talent, obviously, and every team there's talent, but the way Cam Spadalu plays, Rudy, I don't know if he's gonna last.
See, that's the thing. I'm not putting all my eggs in the Cam Scatterboot.
Well, no. So, I mean, I don't even, Jackson Dart does he take that next step? Because Rudy, Harbaugh, as good as he's been, Rudy, right? Mm-hmm. Let's be real. Lamar was an anomaly, right? Like, he's a different type of player who changes, who you really don't have to necessarily coach. But Jackson Dart, you're going to have to coach. And he's going to have that process of really taking that next step. And obviously Lamar in his earlier years, obviously, wasn't great, but he just continued to get better and better. And I think his athleticism, Jackson Dart, Rudy, you don't want him running around. He got hit, man. And he needs to make sure that he goes to the ground, don't take any big hits. But Malik Neighbors, he's coming back from injury, Rudy. Sometimes you never know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
The offensive line, Rudy, I feel like forever, every year.
We talk about that every single year.
Ever since Brian Daboll, the magician, right? It's like they've had an issue every single year at that spot. And I have a lot of questions about their offensive line again. And I know they drafted the kid from Georgia a few years ago. He's been fine, but it seems like everybody else is just, I mean, I don't know what they play, like Russian roulette, like they count one Mississippi and then boom. It's like letting guys free. But no, the Giants free, they're going to improve. But with Tyrone Tracy, that Tyrone Tracy, running back Cam, he can't say. I mean, it's just the defense. They've let guys leave. You have Odell Beckham, but Rudy, I'm sure we're not pinning any big time success for Odell.
I have Malachi Fields ahead of the depth chart than Odell Beckham.
I do like Theo Johnson as kind of a sneaky fantasy type of player, but Rudy, I think Harbaugh is going to be on. I just think the team's going to be bad. I don't know.
The reason why I've got them finishing third, I like their defense. I think their defense is better than the Commanders. We know we're looking on the defensive side of the ball. Then you look on the offensive side of the ball. the Commanders seem to have more talent on the offensive side of the ball based on if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy. And I don't trust Jaden Daniels to stay healthy. I really don't. And then you go to the backup. So, okay, Marcus Mariota out for the year. Sam Hartman is your third string quarterback in Washington. Whereas if Jackson Dart goes down, which is very possible, you have Jameis Winston as your backup.
Oh, okay. That's going to be a fun ride.
But I mean, you're talking Winston over a Sam Hartman. I mean, quarterback play. I don't trust Jaden Daniels.
You're right. The defense has a lot of names, but I think they're just going to take a step. I just don't know if Harbaugh is the right fit for this spot. And I think Daniels is obviously a better quarterback than Dart. We'll see. I could be completely wrong. And I hope, Rudy, because this Giants team has been, they've just been bad. They had the one playoff run with your boy Daniel Jones that 1 year.
More playoff wins than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. But we'll get to him in a second. But the Giants, they always play solid defense, but can they score points consistently? Neighbors is going to be coming back. Cam, I don't trust him. And the offensive line, Rudy, I just don't know. Are they going to get him killed again? 4
out of the 5 guys on that Giants offensive line. I mean, you're talking who? Andrew Thomas.
He's
John
good.
Runyon, John Runyon,
good.
John Michael Schmitz is their center. Francis Mauiago. I mean, they've got guys that were like they're legit guys on the offensive line, and you're like, how is it that bad here? It shouldn't be that bad. They should essentially have one of the best offensive lines in the game with these guys. And maybe that's where I'm giving them a little more credit with Harbaugh. You've got a coach that has won. Yeah, he's won a Super Bowl, but he's won in Baltimore. So he's basically, he's gotten it done. He's been there before. And I think that's where the coaching aspect comes in. That's why I probably a little bit higher on them than I am anybody else.
They do have Matt Nagy as the offensive coordinator. Obviously, he's had some success over the years. So I don't know. And maybe I'm just tired of the Giants. I have a bunch of Giants fans on my social media, and it's always the same, it's our year, blah, blah. But I think the Giants finished for. I think the Commanders, like you said, I think they're more talented, like offense, and I think they'll be able to score more points consistently, at least compared to the Giants.
Moving on to the NFC North, we got to get to these last 2 divisions here as time is running out here on the Sports Answer. But the NFC North, Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings. Gio, you're going to be very impressed with. I made a comment a couple of weeks back on the Sports Answer when I was with Derek Irvin on the studio here. I said, Derek, I hate to say it, but because of Ben Johnson.
Okay.
Because of Ben Johnson.
Because of Ben, not Caleb. Got it.
Because of Ben Johnson. I said it wouldn't shock me to see Caleb Williams in MVP talks.
Look
for a little while this year.
Look how the person has come around. It took you 5 years, but
I said
finally
because of Ben
here.
Johnson, though. But
yeah.
I don't have them winning the division. I actually have Detroit winning the division. This is actually the toughest division.
It is
for me to predict, because even the Vikings, who are predicted to be last, are not going to be that bad. So this is the division where I think is the absolute toughest. And you could potentially see 3 teams out of this division make the playoffs. I really believe.
Oh, no. I mean, you see the talent here. Rudy, the Bears, I've kind of been trying to pushing it up because obviously I was a big Caleb fan, him coming out of USC, and I still want to see him improve. He has a little Brett Favre in him, from time to time you think, well, why did he throw that pass? But you see games like the game against the Rams in the playoffs, right? Running around. Rudy, that pass he threw, by the way, I forgot who the tight end was in that playoff game against the Rams. I can say most quarterbacks couldn't throw that. The way he threw that pass leaning back was very impressive. But the Bears, this is going to be a tough division, Rudy, because you got Green Bay, Detroit. Give me the Chicago Bears winning, and this is another team have kind of also made fun of because I used to live there. But give me the Bears to win the division, Rudy. I think they just continue to take another step. Now, obviously, losing DJ Moore to the Bills isn't great, but look, I like Khalif Raymond, Colson Loveland, Rudy. They love running the football. I mean, they love that physical style of play. I think the defense will continue to get better under Dennis Allen. Second year in that defense. I just think it makes sense. Now, Detroit, Rudy, Jared Goff, I think the offense will be more focused on these guys. Obviously, Gibbs, Brown, and I think Jameson wasn't. He needs to be more consistent. But those three guys are going to be really the bulk of their offense, as well as Sam Laporta would be huge. So that's four guys. Rudy, give me the blinds. I think they have a bounce back year. I think last year was just look. You keep going higher and higher, and then a ceiling. They got to get back to running the football. I think they'll do that. Jared Goff is more successful running the football. And I think their defense, they got to stay healthy, Rudy. They've had so many injuries throughout the year. So if they could stay healthy, I like them. And then third, I think the Packers take a step back.
Yeah, that's where I felt.
I think they take a step back and, you obviously have Christian Watson, Golden. They'll let some of those other receivers go that they've had. Tucker Kraft, Rudy, I mean, he was good, and then he gets hurt. He's coming back from an injury. But Green Bay, I just think the natural regression here. They've been able to, make the playoffs, lose, and they lost to the Bears, obviously, last year. I think they take a step back. Mm-hmm. Josh Jacobs is 28? He's close to 30.
And he may not even play. He might be suspended for the first 6-7 games, maybe even longer of the season because of what's coming out, with his legal troubles.
I do like Marshawn Lloyd there. I do like
fantasy relevance. Yes,
I do like him at that spot. But again, it's the quarterback play. Can this kid take another step? Because honestly, he slightly has regressed, even though they've made the playoffs. And then last but not least, it's the little man, Kyler Murray. Kyler, I just think, I don't know. Could Kyler, I'm trying to envision him being special in this offense. And obviously they had Sam Darnold who went off. Could Kyler do the same thing? I just don't think so. I mean, they have obviously Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason there, Justin Jefferson. Really, they have talent.
They got a three. I don't think I've seen a better 3 wide receiver core in the
talent
NFL.
Is there, but Rudy, as a Rams fan, we play him twice a year in Arizona. Kyler Murray, he's trying to run. He can't see and this and that. He can throw it, but he's running around. He's doing this. He's doing that. He didn't play last year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have him for. But Rudy, mark my words though. I would put a little bit of money on Kyler Murray comeback player of the year. There's a scenario here where I know I have him 4th. I know. But if he has a better Sam Darnold year that Sam Darnold had a few years ago in that offense, Kyler Murray could be running high and, dare I say, comeback player of the year. Also, put some money on Deshaun Watson too. No, I'm just kidding.
Jesus. I've got the Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers, but
this is the Packers last.
Yeah, I think I've got the Packers last. I don't know, man. I mean, to me, I think with Kyler there, you said it best. I think he has potentially a bounce back year, similar to what Sam Darnold did. He's got the best receiving core he's ever had in his life.
But I think Rudy, he might get off to a hot start though. He might. I think teams might not know what to expect from him. I could see him getting off to a hot start and really just playing well, and then maybe tapering down at the end of the year.
I can see that.
But I probably have them 4th or 3rd. It's kind of rotation there.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm taking the Lions is I think they're going to be more balanced this year in that division, and I get it. They're, David Montgomery was a big part, but I think now that you're featuring Jahmyr Gibbs, I believe they even signed Isaiah Pacheco in the offseason. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of reloaded without technically like reloading. I love Isaac Tesla there,
Yeah.
in Detroit. So, I mean, they've got a ton of talent. So, I think Detroit there wouldn't shock me if the Bears won the division. Again, I eat crow all the time. I say a lot of stuff that and I said I wouldn't shock me if Caleb Williams is in MVP talks at some point of the season if the Bears are really playing really well. But again, it's because of Ben Johnson. Moving on to the NFC South here, my unfavorite division in all of NFL football: Panthers, Saints, Bucks, and Falcons. Let's get out of the way. Falcons are going to be last. I could quarterback better than a lot of those guys there in Atlanta. So. I don't like what they've got the talent. Bijan Robinson is going to be a workhorse. Drake London, I'm still sold somewhat on him. Pitts, he had a good season last year. He could probably repeat it again, but I don't trust Tua staying healthy. I don't trust Michael Penix staying healthy. I should have never got rid of Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, but it is what it is. It's already happened. So whatever. I've got the Falcons completely last in this division, getting ready to draft a quarterback next NFL draft. After that, Gio, I'm probably one of the only people in the world outside of New Orleans that has the Saints winning this division. I mean, they finished strong last season. Tyler Shuck is going to be their quarterback. Their backup is Spencer Rattler, and that says a lot on its own. They've got Olave. They've got a really good offensive young core there that I really, really like. The Panthers, I have that CJ Stroud feel for you with Bryce Young, like Bryce Young. I don't think he's going to take a step forward. I think he's going to be kind of mid still, maybe come back a little bit. And of course, with the Bucks, I mean, you lose Mike Evans. I mean, he's already up in his age. Emeka Ibuka, he's having turf toe issues. Chris Godwin, he's in the shell of what he used to be. There's just a lot of questions in Tampa Bay. So I've got them third. I've got the Panthers second, and I've got the Saints winning this division.
This is kind of a weird. Okay, first of all, Atlanta, Rudy. I have them only last because of the quarterback. You've already mentioned the studs. I don't have to go through the list of players. I've thought about this, and I think you might be on to something with the Who Dat Nation. I saw Spencer Rattler play against the Rams last week. I'm just going to leave it at that. It was 34-0.
I told you the kid is good. He should be starting somewhere, and that's horrible. Spencer Rattler in Cleveland, we're talking a whole different story.
Well, look, third
because you know it, man. Come on.
Well, third here, I've gone back and forth. It's Tampa, New Orleans. Give me Tampa. I think, like you said, a lot of unknown here. It is a crowded backfield. You got White there. I think they signed Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
You have Tucker. There's so many guys there. Tampa never can see consistent around the ball. And then, like you said, Rudy, the receiving room is inconsistent. And listen, Todd Bowles, the defense to me has regressed. I know they signed Vea there in the offseason, but that's not going to be enough. I think Todd Bowles is gone. And they didn't sign Baker Mayfield yet, Rudy. So
I don't think they have confidence in him yet.
I don't think they have confidence. I think that marriage might just be over.
Yeah.
I do like Jalen McMillan there as that, but they just, there's something missing. And I think the defense, again, though I like some of the draft picks, they got that young stud there from Miami already. They got some pieces, but ultimately, I just think Todd Bowles is not the guy anymore. And I think, Reed, you're starting to make me a believer in New Orleans because that defense last year with Brandon Staley was pretty freaking good. And obviously on offense, there's a lot of things going on, but
Kellen Moore is going to make them offensively better in this offseason. I mean, they've got 4 guys. They got 1 guy because if Jordan Tyson is not going to play, if he's doubtful for a while, they're going to plug in a kid from North Dakota State and Bryce Lance.
Yeah.
And I was number one, the first guy months before the draft happened, and I put it on X, and I was like, Bryce Lance is the kid that you want to go get in this NFL draft. New Orleans got him along with Jordan Tyson. Bryce Lance is a go-get-it guy, a guy that's going to make New Orleans fans super happy.
No, and look, they got Travis Etienne as well, right? So you have a tandem back there with Kamara. We obviously know what they have at the receiving defense. This is a team that looked in the beginning of the year last year like they weren't going to win a game to now actually having a golden opportunity. But I'm going to give Carolina the respect because I thought, for whatever reason, against the Rams, it was like they just had our number. And the defense, they run around, they play. Freako Dowell, though I believe he left in free agency, but they got trouble here. They have pieces offensively. Really, they just a young team that just it seemed like they won it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that playoff game against the Rams, they were literally right there. Jalen Coker, McMillan at receiver. I mean, they have the tight end leaves much to be desired, but they have pieces. I like what I see in Carolina, and I think they'll take that next step under that young coaching staff. And Rudy, Bryce Young, I mean, just a few years ago, we were bust. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, he was getting benched for the Red Rocket. And now he's playing pretty well. I think they won the division, but I think the Saints, I've been coming around. I've been watching them, even though, the Rams beat them in that preseason game. But when you look at the talent they have on defense, they're going to scare some people.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty high on the Saints, in this offseason just because I've loved what they did in the draft. I love what they did in the offseason. Travis Etienne obviously go in there. And I get what you're saying, with the Panthers as well. I mean, the thing with Bryce Young, it's like, man, has he hit his ceiling? That's the biggest thing.
True. Yeah. Has he hit the ceiling? Has he hit that? And I think there's more there. I think there's more left in the tank. And he's short. Like he's not a big guy. So obviously there is some limitations like Kyler Murray, but I think they can continue their success and kind of continue this run they have going.
And then quick, before we go into our last division here, quick shout out, man. If you guys have listened to Coach Gio and I for years, we've been telling you about one kid named Haynes King out of Georgia Tech. We were telling you guys about him a long time ago. And if you saw him play recently, especially in the Hall of Fame game, the kid is a stud. I mean, he really is a stud. I don't know if he ever gets the opportunity, but the kid can ball. So definitely watch out for Haynes King. And then we have our last division here before we make our Super Bowl predictions. Rams, Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals. That makes up the NFC West. I'm just going to cut to the chase. It's the Rams division to win. Seahawks, I've got them at second. Niners at third. Cardinals are last. I don't think the Cardinals are a terrible team. I just think this is what I was talking about with Carolina. It's one of those teams where you're either, you've got a lot of young guys, you got a lot of veterans, but you don't have the middle to kind of combine everything. That's the way I feel about Carolina Panthers. You got a lot of young talent, they got a lot of veteran talent, but they don't have anything in the middle. It's kind of like you're missing that piece, similar to Tampa Bay. A lot of these teams they don't have that middle piece where you look at the Cowboys are pretty good all the way around. They're pretty balanced all the way around. Buffalo's balanced all the way around. A lot of these teams are balanced like that. The Broncos, the Rams, I mean, I really can't pick a part of the field where I'm like, well, yeah, they're probably a little weak. No, they're not weak here. Well, they're probably a little weak. No, I mean, you could make a case that they're better there. It's hard to pick this team apart. And then you look at the receiving core and you're like, well, right now, Jordan Whittington is probably their third best receiver. Yet they still have Tutu Atwell. I mean,
we're saying they just traded for Tutu today, which is he went to Miami, he's back. But yeah,
I mean they are loaded, especially in. I'm gonna go way down the chart. I mean when you've got guys like Ronnie Rivers and Dean Connors, who, if you study Dean Connors,
he played very well.
he's got a little bit of McCaffrey. He's got a little bit of other
And I
former
think,
players.
I think the Rams traded today as well. Hunter, the fourth running back. I think they want to sign him to. He's probably going to make the 53. I would be surprised if he didn't. But Rudy, the Rams. Look, I'm the Rambassador.
You are.
The last few years, the Rams loses the divisional game to the freaking Eagles. You lose to the Seahawks. No, lose to the Lions in the wild card game. Lose to the Eagles. Now the Seahawks. Now it's time for that Super Bowl jump. My team, call me a homer, but I like my team in this division. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, Rudy. I mean, a pretty good tandem there. Obviously, Puka and Devontae. They bring back or they trade for Tutu Atwell. So it's got to think he might have that. And Terrence Ferguson, another year in that Rams offense. And then defensively, Rudy. I mean,
we're waiting for 99.
I love Jared Verse, but if you would have told me, hey, you can trade the defensive player of the year for Jared Verse, I'm going to choose defensive player of the year. You got that big
waiting
guy.
on 99, Gio.
And we're still waiting on Aaron Donald, who has practice. He's come for a workout with the Rams. It's curious to see was it the Rams' issue was the secondary. They addressed that.
Oh God,
they addressed that with two top corners in free agency from Kansas City, and the safeties are there up front. I mean, Byron Young, who got hurt at the end of the year, he's back. You have Puna Ford in the middle. You have Turner. Rudy, I almost don't want to jinx this team because you look at the damn time, like, dude, this team's really good. Okay, second, I'm going with the 49ers. I think Seattle takes a step back, and I think Sam Darnold comes back.
See that.
I think Sam Darnold comes back to life.
Yeah.
The running game will not be nearly as good last year, Rudy. Kenneth Walker is in Kansas City. I did forgot to mention that earlier, but he's in Kansas City. Zach had a torn ACL. He won't be back probably to mid-year. They did draft the kid.
Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. Sorry,
but Rudy, I don't. They may have picked up someone in free agency. I don't remember, but Seattle to me, Rudy. The Rams, as good as Seattle's defense was, Rudy, the Rams were throwing around Seattle, throwing up a bunch of points. We seem to be the kryptonite. Give me San Francisco at 2. For whatever reason, I think Purdy, Mike Evans, and some of the acquisitions they've had in the offense, I think the 49ers are going to be the 49ers. And then in the last place, the Arizona Cardinals, which, by the way, Rudy, that tight end in McBride and not Harrison, but the other receiver, which
Smith.
Oh man, Rudy, that they have some young pieces there, but unfortunately, you're in a division with the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers. So
Wilson, I'm sorry, not Smith.
Michael
Wilson.
Rudy, he might be the best receiver on the team, Rudy.
Yeah, and that's why I said the Cardinals on paper are a team that you're like, that's not bad. I mean, they got Algiers are back up to love. I mean, Jacoby Brissett, you saw what he did last year when Kyler was out. Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, they do have Kendrick Bourne there, but those two guys they're good. Trey McBride, I mean, one of the best tight ends
in the league.
They've actually got a decent offensive line anchored by Paris Johnson. So I mean, and then if you look at the defense, it's not bad. I mean, Walter Nolan and Josh Sweat are on the line. Xavier Collins is there. Buda Baker's
they're not going to be
there.
An easy out. Like,
no,
I can see Seattle going there, and I could see the Rams going there. Like, it's a team that they gave us problems last year. They gave us fits. We were down early in that game. I think 21-7 in that second game. So it is a team that you don't sleep on any NFL team, but they have the talent. And for whatever reason, Michael Wilson, whenever he sees a Rams jersey, he's just torching us. So, but the Rams secondary with McDuffie, much improved.
When Emmanuel Forbes is a backup on a secondary, that tells you a lot, especially with the Rams. I mean, that's why I think, definitely we all agree on the Rams. That's your NFL preview for the season. Before we go, last thing we got to do is accomplish this, Gio. Super Bowl predictions. I'm going to give you my Super Bowl prediction first. Let you kind of simmer on this a little bit. I've got out of the AFC, I've got the Denver Broncos coming out of the AFC. Bo Nix is going to continue that season he had last year. He's going to get revenge on the AFC because
Your
he
love
wants
for Bo Nix
he
goes back to
wait,
Auburn.
you were the one that said he was going to be terrible in the NFL, and
all I said was the man spent 30 years in college football, but
that's not a problem.
I did say though, you pair him with a competent coach, and obviously Sean Payton is. He lucked out, Rudy, because if he's with the Jets coach, do you think he's doing this?
No, but the same goes for Caleb Williams. I mean, we can say the exact same thing for Caleb Williams.
Fair.
So give me the AFC champs are going to be the Denver Broncos to meet the NFC champs, and my Super Bowl winner, the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm taking them again this year. Give me the Rams to represent the NFC, to go into the Super Bowl against the Broncos and get a Super Bowl title, to send Matthew Stafford on his way and welcome the Ty Simpson era of quarterbacking.
Ty's played well.
I'm not going to lie. That's why I said the Ty Simpson era.
During I'm going with one that I actually talked about earlier. Give me Rams Bills in the Super Bowl, Rudy.
Do you think they get over it?
I think the Bills get over the hump.
I'll give you that.
And I think the Rams, I think they're on a mission. I think the picks that they've traded to get the defensive player of the year. I mean, Rudy, he's a big man. That guy is a large man. And if Aaron Donald comes back, Aaron Donald won't even be the best player on the defense. So
yeah.
I'm excited for the Rams. I'm excited for the Georgia Bulldogs as well, though I think the committee has them a little high than what I would have put them. But anyway, we can talk about college football another day. But give me the Rams, Bills, and I think the Rams find a way to host that Lombardi Trophy, and Matthew Stafford will definitely get a gold jacket after that.
He deserves a gold jacket anyway. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer as is right now, but
and MVP, Rudy.
Yeah, and MVP. Who do you think got the MVP? You gonna take Stafford for the MVP this year?
No, I think it's hard to replicate what he did. Could he do it again? Could he do like an Aaron Rodgers kind of? Possibly, Rudy. Rudy, I've been on the Bengals. Give me Joe Burrow, man.
I like that pick. Can we legitimately say, and I'm gonna go on a limb here before we go. Can we legitimately say that this is going to be a year of a good amount of MVP candidates? Because I'm going to go Dak Prescott.
Okay.
I mean, he has all the freaking tools around him. And I think the Cowboys are probably going to be the highest scoring team in the league. I think they're going to have to be because teams are going to probably score on them. So they're going to have to put up a whole bunch of points. But I think Dak Prescott has a legitimate chance to get an MVP title this year. And Joe Burrow's good. I mentioned Caleb Williams getting opportunity. Josh Allen, taking the next step. That's another guy that you could potentially see as MVP candidate there. You can even go as far as the possibility of Bo Nix even possibly getting MVP recommendation. So this year, I think it's going to be real fun. It's going to be a really good NFL season, man. And, that's what it's going to be for me.
One more question before you go.
Yeah.
Any odds for comeback player of the year? Anybody you think could have a bounce back year?
Ooh.
I did give you Kyler Murray. I think I picked him to come in fourth, but I feel like he could also just come into that offense.
I'm going down my list right now. The easy pick would be Joe Burrow, but I don't want to give it to Joe Burrow. That's kind of the easy pick.
I've seen Patrick Mahomes, Daniel Jones is on that list. Tank Dell is interesting. If he could stay healthy. Micah Parsons. I saw Geno Smith on there, and look, for what it's worth, Geno had that 2 good year run in Seattle where he surprised everyone. Could he do that in New York? I just don't think it's going to happen. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go Michael Parsons.
Comeback player of the year, Michael Parsons. I would say that's a legit good one. I could definitely see that happening. Man,
Michael Penix,
no, God.
if healthy, does he change life in Atlanta enough?
I can say probably yes. I think he could. Would it mean Super Bowl or deep playoff run? No, but I think it could change the culture there. And as far as defense, I've come back player of the year. If he plays, I'm going to give you an outside guy here. George Kittle.
Okay.
I mean, the offense, Deebo Samuel's back in San Francisco. So we could see a little bit, more of an exciting offense. Mike Evans there could open up a lot more for George Kittle. And we potentially could see George Kittle have a
what's funny about
revitalized career.
I was looking. Someone put Aaron Donald. It's so funny. That would be so fun.
Wow.
I mean,
if Aaron comes back, he's getting double-digit sacks, maybe more. I mean, he's getting a bunch.
His odds right now on DraftKings is plus 900, which, if you think about it, Malik Neighbors is plus 1900. It's just crazy to me because Aaron hasn't even signed a contract, and Aaron has better odds to win than Malik Neighbors, which obviously he's coming from injury, but still, that's mind-boggling to me. And also, Rudy, watch it for Patrick Mahomes. I know we kind of dogged on him a little bit, but he is a former MVP and a Super Bowl champion.
I just don't think he has enough weapons.
That's the thing. I think Tyreek is literally probably doing a podcast as we speak with his brother. And Rice, hopefully he's not getting in trouble. But yeah, Pat Mahomes is going to have an uphill climb.
Yeah.
Especially if they can't run the football consistently. It's going to be tough.
It's going to be a good NFL season. We've got the college football preview show. We'll try to get the NFL and college football guru, Coach Gio, back next week to do some college football talk for you guys. Break down who will make the national championship game, the bracket. We'll do all as much as we can for you guys for next week on the college football preview show. This was the NFL preview show. Again, Answer Now TV. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube so you're not left out. You either get the Thursday Night Delight, the Friday Night Drive, or potentially you can also get Spurs in Focus with Jeff Garcia as well. So again, appreciate everybody joining us again. We weren't ignoring your comments. It says we're live, but we're not live. This is a pre-recorded show. We're not in studio today. So again, if you're thinking, well, they're not answering my questions, they're not putting my comment up, don't worry. It's not on you. It's just we are pre-recorded, even though it says live. So for Coach Gio, it's Rudy Campos Jr. When you've got those sports questions, we've got the sports answers. We'll see you guys next week.